Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lunchtime with Demons. Um, I'm Bella Perez, as you know, and joined here with Ryan Stone. Um, we're so happy to have you. I hope that you're having an okay week in the year of January because this
Yeah, I don't know that there's a great way to explain that one for
because
prosperity.
this month has felt like a year.
Yeah, exactly.
In the 3 years that's been January. Um, I have a very creepy ambiance going. If you're just listening, you can't tell that it looks like I'm coming to you from the grave. But if you watch the video on YouTube, because we're now recording these as well, we're recording the video of these podcast episodes as well, so you can check us out. You can see how silly my setup is right now. It's it's because it's 4 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, I have the sun coming in my window in my office, and it comes in. You could see a little bit on my shoulder. Look at it. You, the sun comes in like it's coming in to blind me. So I had to close the blinds, and I don't have a light in here. So I have this itty bitty ring light, but it's directly like it's like underlighting me.
Give you that haunting glow.
Yeah, looks like I'm telling a ghost story.
That's what it looks like. It looks like you're
Yeah.
around a campfire. That's what it is. It's a campfire glow.
That's exactly what it is. I'm here for it. Today, today's topic is practice. Practice.
Mm,
Do. Have we had a practice? Have we had an episode like this?
I don't think that we've specifically given a whole episode to practice. I do think that we, of course, always talk about it and the different major discussions I think we have, but I don't think we've devoted a whole episode to practice, which I feel like is kind of timing with just the way things are working. And I think kind of in where we're at in life right now in the world, I think practice can be a very beautiful sanctuary for ourselves.
Yes. As I've recently expressed on my TikTok, and I should really share that TikTok video on YouTube as well, Lucifer's message. Um, but one of the biggest focuses that the divine has asked of me to share with everyone is how to protect their vessel by self-care, truly by leaning into the self right now. Not because he thinks that you should really, give yourself, just a spa day, but in order to have longevity in a system that's trying to literally break you, you need to prioritize the self, because someday fight or flight will end and the adrenaline will wear off and you will be screwed. It's roughly about a mile. Honestly, did you know that? It's roughly about a mile of exhaustion or running that the body runs out of adrenaline. So imagine that, you're running and you're out and you're trying to protect yourself, and it's about a mile. And then you're hit with everything. The fact that you haven't worked out, or the fact that you haven't taken care of yourself, or thought about your vessel, or thought about this container that houses the human and the spirit and the mind. And so, practice is something that I think is really important to talk about, especially with what's happening in our world right now. And I've noticed, I always talk about the trends and the things that get brought to me weekly, because we record this podcast weekly. And so I pay a lot of attention to what is the trending question or topic of conversation within the Patreon, within the community. And I would say the biggest thing right now is bindings, people talking about bindings, talking about alchemically connecting themselves deeper and deeper with the divine. They're also bringing up understanding archetypes a little bit more, understanding positions of service, such as like priesthood and other positions, as well as understanding their clair abilities more, wanting to dive deeper into their own personal clairs. And then deconstructions come up quite a bit, quite a bit. And as I was running over all of that with Ryan, because I we were trying to decide what this episode was going to be on, he was like, "Well, people should practice." You said that with much more tact, but I I really like I thought about it and was like, all of these things really do fall under the umbrella of practice. And it's funny because like I always feel like I can't give you enough. I can't give you enough content. I can't give you enough information. I can't give you enough, but I can only lead you to water. That's it. I can't make you drink. I can't make you dedicate more than 5 minutes to something. I can't make you commit to yourself. I can only provide information. And I definitely can't make you practice. And practice is what is required to, to have one.
Yeah. Yeah, it is the verb of it and the action of it that makes it what it is. And I agree. I think that it's at the heart of all of those topics that have been circling around in terms of practice. And then I think you also have to remember like who you are and how you practice and figuring out what that is. If you don't really know quite yet what that works, how that works for you and what it looks like. Some people it might be very regimented. Some people it may be using intuition and those sort of things. But you have to find out that place that works for you and work it. And it may not last, it may change, but you have to start somewhere. Because if you don't, then you
Yeah.
can read all the books you want, you can listen to all the YouTubes and podcasts you want, but without putting it into practice, it will really never alchemically embody that work within yourself. And I think that's the part maybe that a lot of folks don't understand about the difference of taking in knowledge and then embodying that knowledge comes through practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, information without integration is just information. You have to integrate it. You have to apply it. You
Work
have,
with it.
yeah, you have to try it, which means you have to be willing to make mistakes, to, to go back to the drawing board, to think you know something, and then to say, guess I don't, guess that was wrong, or guess that doesn't work for me, or I guess that's not right, or that's not going to work for me. I've decided I don't want to do that. Um, one of my students, Actually, a lot of my students this week had a lot of issues come to the surface with a lot of these things. A lot of the things that I just brought up, whether it's like bindings or clairs or archetypes or deconstruction, or even just ways of practicing. I felt like a lot of my students had hit some roadblocks this week, and it brought up a ton of questions. And I would like to piggyback on what you had said about knowing who you are in order to know how to practice, because I think that's a really great place to start. And I agree that you do have to be a wee bit self-aware, because if you decide, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make myself a really, really tight, regimented schedule starting at 7 a.m. And I'm just going to wake up at 7 a.m. and I'm going to meditate from 7 to 7:15. Then from 7:15 to 7:30, I'm going to go brush my teeth, and then I'm going to take a shit. And then from 7:30, to 7:45, I'm going to take a shower. 7:45 to 7:15, I'm gonna get dressed and do my hair and do my makeup. And from 7:15, you know what I mean? Like if that's your fucking goal and you think you're gonna do that, but your ass has never ever done that before, I'm gonna say, I wish you a lot of luck. But it's probably not gonna work. It's 4:34. I bet you I can put the curtain up now. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun.
I was thinking about it. I think it's just that time of year where the sun happens to be at the right angle to kind of like make it difficult.
Look at us.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Here I am. I'm no longer Tales from the Crypt. I loved Tales from the Crypt, by the way. I also loved Are You
Such a
Afraid of the
favorite.
Dark?
Yeah. Tales of the Crypt was such a favorite for me because the timing of when it came out, I think was a great cross section of like a transition of a horror film, honestly, into this like TV series
Mm-hmm.
more eloquently. I mean, it harkens back a little bit to uh what was the Twilight Zone, but
Oh yeah.
another favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved the Twilight Zone too. I was really sad. excuse me, I was really sad when uh the Tower of Terror changed from the Twilight Zone to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
That's a bummer. Anyways,
Side note.
I know. Um, side note. Yes. So yeah, there's, unfortunately, when you're when you are you have to know yourself enough to know, oh hey, that type of schedule isn't going to work for me. It's not going to work for me. I have never been able to do it before. Now is not the time. It's not suddenly going to just work. So, I think starting slow, trying one thing at a time, being proud of yourself for having done it, and I also think a lot of people are like, well, I started something and then I stopped, so there's no point. And then they never pick it up again. And I'm like, you have a new day. Every single day is a new day to make a new decision. And that new decision is not, it should never fall on the weight of a past decision or the day before. It's an
Yeah, without a doubt.
entirely new day. So a really good example is like I have started a new like workout regimen. This entire year it will be dedicated to getting back in my body. Like now that I've had surgery and I feel so much better, like I can get back into my body and working out again and like being active again. And those are things that I really enjoy. And I know I have to take a rest day. And today was supposed to be a rest day. And I was in the kitchen and I had this thought where I was like, today is supposed to be a rest day, but I don't feel like resting. I don't. I don't feel like resting. My body doesn't feel like it needs a rest. My muscles don't feel like they need a rest. I don't feel tired or lethargic. There's no part of me that feels like it needs a rest. So if I based today on everything else that I've done throughout the week, then I wouldn't have just did a quick ride. So I did a really light ride. I have a Peloton and I did a quick like 15-20 minute ride in the Swiss Alps or something like that and on my Peloton. Nothing crazy. Talked to King Belial, listened to some music and just like got into my body. That's the whole point of this. Like my workout regimen is not about anything other than being in my body, not in my mind, and got back into my body. But if I was to look at a schedule, this would be the off day. But I needed that workout. It wasn't because I needed it because it fulfilled something and said, oh, I worked out. I needed it because I just needed to get into my body. My body was asking for it because it's a new day. Every single day is a new day. And you have to be willing to be flexible, adaptable, malleable, shiftable. And when, but as a person, I also know that if I'm not fluid, like I work with a Leviathan, okay? If I'm not fluid, if I can't move like the tide, like Leviathan, or if I don't have oxygen and I'm trapped in a room as fire like Lucifer, I will find a way out. Like I have to be able to move and I have to be able to flow all at the same time. And so if something is too regimented for me, I will break it.
Oh yeah. That's actually when you were listing the hour or 15-minute increments. I was like, I'll break that shit in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll break it just to break it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
oh yeah, you think I'll be down to 7:15? Bitch. You just wait, 7:25. How about that? What are you gonna do
But
about it?
this is what I actually love like about our conversations. Like, I don't think how much I really understood until just this moment of us talking about this, how much my practice and being fluid and following my intuition has expanded greatly in my practice and how I work with the divine just by being that way with them
Hmm.
and myself.
Yeah. And I recognize that not everyone can do that. I know that. Like my husband, not that person. Nope, not at all. He needs discipline. He needs a schedule. He is like, he wakes up every single day at the same time and he goes to the gym at the same time and he eats the same food and he likes that. It makes him feel comfy and safe and it's perfect, for, you know, any regular serial killer. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. To anyone listening to this, I'm joking. He's wonderful. But to you out there, if that's what you need, but good if you know that that's what you need, and don't go over, don't be like, well, Ryan and Bella are fluid. I'm gonna be like them and then lose your damn mind because you need a schedule. Like, I do think that there is like a level of self-awareness that really needs to like come into play when you're looking at your spiritual practice.
I agree. You have to kind of know who you are and what works for you. And if you don't, fine, but you got to then explore those different avenues and things and just commend yourself for exploring it, seeing what works, and then build on that. Maybe you're somebody that's hybrid. I like having a semi schedule that I kind of stick to and work with that. So I mean, there's a myriad of different ways that you can do it. I just think you have to put in that effort and time to really acknowledge and find out what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. I like both. I'm the same way. I have one day that's really regimented, and then I have like I need multiple days of flow state. And then I can come back to something like a regimented day. And typically on those regimented days, it has a lot to do with work because I have EDD, which is like executive dysfunction disorder. And so because I run my own business and I don't have help, I need those days of heavy regimented stuff to be pretty much business oriented. And I avoid those days like the plague. But then I get reward days after that, where I can breathe a little bit. And typically I'll do something nice for myself, because they're very hard days for me. And I have tried a million other ways of going about it, like spreading it out, doing small things daily so I don't have to have those days. Guess what? I still avoid it. It's so, you have to be so self-aware. And people will be like, why do you do that to yourself? Why do you like plow it in 1 to 2 days a month? Like, why would you do that? I'm like, it's the only way that works. If I could do it any other way, I would. I would choose any other way, but I know myself. I know myself.
I'm with you. I'd rather grind it out real hard for a day or two and then have the other days of the week to do what I need to and be in flow. Otherwise, I feel like every little day of trying to do something is like such a grind and a chore. And so
Mhm.
I do probably think it's a level of my same executive dysfunction of just like I it it becomes too much of a focus for me when I
Yeah,
don't want something to be such a focus where, like I said, I'd rather just get on it and do it, be done, and move on.
exactly. Everyone is different. Everyone is different. And you don't need to be like someone else. You just need to know where you are. If you can't handle 20-minute, 30-minute daily meditations every single day, you need to know that about yourself. And that may be where you are now. That doesn't mean that's where you're going to be 2, 3 years down the line, but you'll never find out if you don't recognize where you are now. If you don't actually acknowledge where you are now and give yourself permission to be where you are now, like true permission, true acceptance, like this is where I am. I'm okay with that. I accept where I am. And not I accept where I am just because I'm waiting for that thing to change. Not feigned acceptance. I'm talking genuine acceptance. Like, I genuinely accept where I am because I think where I am is enough. Things will change. They will change because nothing truly stays the same. Everything is temporary. We've said this before. Um, I used to have a pin that said, I know I've said this before.
I mean, I agree though, and I think meditation is a great example of this, like as a singular item. Like there's so many different ways to meditate, and you can invent even more ways for your personal self and how they work. I started out with a very, Buddhist Taoist way of practicing meditation of just calming blind darkness and just trying to like manage my, anger at a 20-year-old person that, evolved into such larger practices over time of different things that I've grown through all these years. And I still, even to this day, with as much and as like interesting meditations I have visually, I still will sit in complete silence and calm, just for fun.
Yeah. I mean, I have I have many, many classes available to you on different ways of meditating. Um, but uh, I would say my biggest thing that I wish people could really, really get through their heads, if I could just like pound this into your skull gently with love, permanently though, I would. If I, I feel like this is ASMR. I'm like permanently pound this into your fucking skull. I would. Um, you're not making everything up. You think you are. You're not. You're not that clever. I'm just kidding. But truly, I'm just, I'm, uh, the amount of times people are like, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. It's nothing. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. There's nothing there. It's nothing. And I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. So is it blackness behind your eyes? And they're like, yeah. Well, no fucking shit. It should be. Your eyelids are closed over your eyes. I would really, truly hope it would be black. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you to create in your mind. That's what I'm asking. When I say you're now walking down a path, what the fuck does the path look like? I want you to tell me what the path looks like. I want you to tell me what you're seeing in your mind. And your immediate thought is, I can't because that means I'm making it up. Make it up. Make it up. Tell me what you're seeing. Give yourself permission to be a fucking creator in your mind. Make it up. Who cares? Once you make it up, once you actually grant permission to the mindscape, to the mind to create, once you literally, like, by just creating, by just making the path, I don't care if it's made of gold. I don't care if it's made of literal the heads of men. I don't care if it's made of raccoon penises. If you make the path, okay, you tell the subconscious, I accept creation. I accept imagination, and I accept that I am an active co-creator and that I have something to do with this. And then when I say to you, the divine, allow them in, you've now already showed your subconscious that you gave it permission and that it now looks at you as the authority. So when I say to you, allow the divine to come in, invite them to come in, you are the authority, and your subconscious relaxes and allows the divine to come in. Once they enter the space, right then and there, you are both co-creating everything. Everything you think, every thought that comes in your head, everything you see, everything you feel. It is a co-experience because that's how consciousness moves. You are not subject to it because you are the fucking authority. You could shut it down at any moment. Nothing is ever left behind. They can't do anything to you. They can't take anything from you. This is what I want you to know. Take this. Please, please take this advice. It will change your entire practice if you could just do this one thing for yourself. But the thing is, it requires practice. It requires practice because it is not something that you can just do and not come up against your own trauma, your own fear, your own doubt, your own insecurities. All of those things are going to come up, all of them. You're going to get halfway down the path and you're going to all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I'm terrible at this. I can't do this. I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know. Why does Lucifer have a hat on? He shouldn't, suddenly like, you're going to get in your head about it. But that's okay. That's why you got to go back in. You got to do it again and again and again and again. You got to be ready and willing to fail over and over and over again in order for it to grow and get better. And then what's incredible is once you keep doing it, once you do it so much, you'll get to a place where you'll be sitting there talking to Lucifer and he'll be like, come back and talk to me after you get off the phone with your mother, please. And I'm like, what? And then my phone rings. Yeah, you'll get to that place. And then you stop going, I hope it's real. You do. You stop asking that question. You'll get there, but that's not immediate. That comes from when your nervous system is so relaxed, so sure. There's no more, I give you permission. It knows. It knows who the authority is. It knows not just how to relax, it knows to relax also on imagination and creation because it knows it doesn't need to. That's the secret, is eventually it knows how to stop making it up. It knows how to just quiet down and relax and go, oh, the divine will do it for her. It'll do it with her. She'll do it. Fuck it. Her higher consciousness will just do it. They'll just go. That's wonderful. And then my imagination will come in when it's something my brain can't process. Like Gadriel was showing me basically a galaxy in which I couldn't perceive because it was a galaxy that had been destroyed. And he had it in a container in which I obviously can't see or perceive. And so I saw it as a samurai sword, and my brain decided to make it a samurai sword. And so when I saw the samurai sword on the wall, I was like, wow, that's epic. It looked like a diamond, like it was made of diamond. And I was like, wow, that is so cool. And I was like, so that's the universe? And he was like, yeah. And then I got really close to it and it started to like hum. And I was like, oh, fuck. It's not a samurai sword, is it? And I knew it. I knew right away. That's discernment. That takes time. But I was so grateful that my brain created anything instead of just a black fucking nothing, a black hole, But that's ironic because it's Gadriel, but it created something. It created something in that moment. It created anything for me to be able to perceive. And I looked at him and I smiled and I was like, I know it's not a samurai sword, but I'm so grateful that I'm seeing anything. And he was like, yeah, I know. um, and that was such a special moment for me. And now when I'm there and I'm in that particular room, I always kind of smile when I see all these swords up on the wall because I know that they're not samurai swords. I know that they're not universes. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We need it. We need our imagination. We need to be able to co-create. We need to be able to teach ourselves permission. So again, back to practice, these things take time. They take time to build discernment, trust, intuition, clairs, inner peace, worth, confidence, patience, all of these things.
Yeah, it's like working out. I mean, like I love the second you said create a path. Right here with you, I'm creating cobblestones. I can see the grass that's growing between them, and it just starts like walking its way out from that moment and that time. But because my body, mind, and being has such a desire to create, you've just given me the seed.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I know that's hard for people though. I do. And I don't want anyone to feel invalidated by what we're saying because I know how hard it is at the beginning of your practice. It can feel like just insurmountable. Like this is just so hard because you're up against yourself. And depending on how hard you've been on yourself throughout your entire life, some of us are our own worst enemy, truly,
Yeah, that internal monologue can be vicious.
truly. And if that's what you're fighting and you've never been able to shut it up before, you think suddenly you're going to be able to shut it up now, doing something that our brains are literally wired to tell you is wrong. Like, keep that in mind. The practice that you're doing, your brain is wired to protect you from. So, if your internal monologue has been difficult for you before, it's going to be difficult for you now.
That's one of the areas you'll have to work on to grow in this. And, it's another part of the practice of practicing changing that monologue and seeing it for what it is and, coming up against that level of deconstruction that's a part of it and, the self-worth that goes in with it. And that's what we talk about. Like, just in that one like microscopic aspect of this, there's so many things that have to go in and be worked on just to start to evolve that situation. So give yourself credit for just even working on something like that. That's tremendous.
Yeah, and I think another thing is recognize that the practice is you. You are the work. Yes, you can do all these things and they mean nothing if you're not actually doing the work on yourself. They will fall short. You can do all of these things, read every book, memorize everything, and then if you decide to not work on yourself or that internal monologue or the trauma that brings it all up, your meditations will go dark, your clairs will be shallow, your conversations will be short. You are the practice. You don't need an altar. You don't need these books. What you need is yourself. And the biggest thing is the reason why people really don't like, not don't like, I think the biggest reason why people are intimidated by co-creation and co evolution is because it's about being perceived by the divine, being perceived by the divine while you're imperfect. It's one thing when you come with an offering in hand and you're like, look at me, look how cute I am. I have this great offering for you. What about when you just wake up and you're like, good morning? And then you go about your day and everything's a fucking mess and you're completely exhausted and tired and you have nothing to give and you just sit there and you're like, what do I do now? Is now the time to talk to Lucifer? When I'm feeling like I'm gonna boil over, my edges feel terrible. I feel like I'm literally about to explode and I'm standing in the middle of Trader Joe's and I want to scream at the woman standing in front of me. Is now the time to talk to Lucifer? Yeah, it is. If your path is co-creation, if your path is co-evolution, or you're even potentially considering something like a binding or a God spousal or service, and you're questioning whether or not that's the space to talk to him, I'm going to be real clear with you. The answer is yeah. If you're not comfortable being perceived in your truth, you should not be alchemizing with an entity because you're not willing to look at yourself. If you're uncomfortable looking at yourself, like really looking at yourself, why the fuck are you binding with someone outside of yourself? Why are you doing that? And when you propose it to them and you feel their resistance, that mirror is really important that you look at it. That resistance is there for a reason. But, it's like every time you are met with resistance, every time, just look at it. What harm could it do to look at it? Truly, what harm could it do? When that little knot in your stomach twists and you're like, ugh, don't like that. Instead of running from it, just take a glance at it. Why don't I like it? Why don't I like it? What is it? What does it make you feel? And why? It could take 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes could change your entire practice if you do it enough. Truly, I'm not, I promise. I swear. I swear it works. Really.
It does. You have to be willing to, know that you're sharing all of yourself. You don't get to serve yourself up in pieces like you do here in the physical world. You have to if you're binding with one of these entities, you're sharing everything eventually. Now they may give you time to understand what that looks like and what that is, but that's what you're ultimately putting on the table is to share everything about yourself, good, bad, indifferent, who you are, who you want to be, who you're going to evolve to, the things that you may not be proud of. You have to be willing to share and look at all of that with them together. And I do think that there is an aspect of being able to do that that it gives you ultimate freedom to grow further.
Mhm. It kind of makes me think about identification. I always think about like people's practice when they know nothing and they've never done this work before. And this is something that I'm really really grateful for, that I get to be a part of this a lot, because I've done a lot of identification readings for people where they come to me and they're like, hey, I'm really interested in this work. I've never worked with anyone before. Can you just tell me if there's anyone around? Um, and recently I've been thinking a lot about the identification readings that I've done for people that are like kind of seasoned now, like practitioners that have been doing this for a long time. Because like I've been around for a while, so I'm like, damn. I like look at them and I'm like, I remember when I remember when you like just started. Um anyway, and so I was thinking about that, and I always found it really fascinating that the entities that would come in would always say, like, well, always that this is not new, that they've been around forever, they've known them for forever, since the dawn of time, or they've been with them, that they're family, or that they're a part of each other. And or they would say something incredible like we're eternal. um and I think at first I was like, oh yes, projection. Like my brain was always like, oh, that's lovely. Like I just took it and was like, that's nice. I didn't think anything of it. But over the years, as I've kind of heard the same thing over and over and over again, and it's gotten obviously more expansive and intense and intentional, I've learned that like none of this is by mistake. None of this is by happenstance. None of this is by chance. Not that it's pre-designed, not that it's premeditated. I know that seems like almost like I'm contradicting myself, but give me a moment. I do think that there's a level of like awareness that we have coming into this life. And that's all I'll say. That we have awareness. And so do they. And being that they're not bound by time and the limitations of flesh, their awareness supersedes the human experience. And so when that time comes that you are ready to seek them and you come to someone like me, and Satan comes in and says, I'm using Satan because it's you, Ryan. And Satan comes in and says, hi, like, how are you? And you're like, what do you mean, Satan? I've never talked to Satan before. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why would Satan want to talk to me? Why is Satan here? What the fuck is that? And you start to freak out. Like, and then Satan's like, well, I've known you since the dawn of time. Like you've been with me forever. Like we're eternal and I love you and I'm here. I've always been here. I've been here since you were a kid. Remember on your 6th birthday? Remember when this happened? Remember when this happened when you were 13? And that's happened like in my identity reading, my like identification readings. I've had entities come in and literally say like tell her that on her 13th birthday when her mother like accidentally dropped the cake that I was there and that like when she started crying and like I tell her like I was the voice in her head that was telling her like it's gonna be okay um and then there was a whole other thing of cupcakes and the cupcakes had little unicorns on it and like it was very specific and he was really like adamant that I told her this. Meanwhile I was like shitting my pants because I had no context for any of this, and as a psychic you get used to that where you're like well I'm gonna say something and I have no context and no sure thing, I'm just gonna say it. But this was hella specific. But I needed to say it. It was very important because this person was like, she literally said to me, she's like, I booked this literally as a joke. to she's like, because I was gonna stop doing it. I was gonna stop practicing. Because I knew that it was bullshit. And she's like, but there's no fucking way you could have known. But the irony was that she thought it was bullshit because the person who identified the entity that she worked with was like an Etsy witch. And so she was like, there's no validity, there's no way. But I identified the same entity. I just was, it was just a different, more intense reading with me. And that was the entity. And he was like, I came in for the chick on Etsy. I'm just coming in here too. I don't understand. And but he was just, but he was like, yeah, I've been with you your whole human life, but fuck your human life. I was ready. I was here with you when you made a decision to make this fucking life. What are you talking about? I was here before that. I'll be here after this shit too. And it was really cool because then she was like, what do you mean a demon loves me? I was like, well, he's not really a demon. He's a divine being that was demonized. But that's a whole other deconstruction conversation that we can have later. um and now they're still a happy and wonderful, practitioner working with them. So, but I think I look at that and I just go like we all come to a place in our practice where we go, I just want to stop. It's fucking stupid. I can't do this. This isn't right for me. I don't know what I'm doing. I am terrible at this. I'm putting myself at risk. I should listen to this practitioner. I should listen to this practitioner. I've got 40 different people on TikTok that I'm following. La 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 la. And you have all the voices in your head. But the truth is, you're never going to be able to hear their voice until you actually see the worth in your own voice, in your own head. That voice means something. When the voice in your own head, your voice, means something to you, all of the other voices will fall into their rightful place. And you will be able to discern and differentiate the differences. I promise. You just have to give yourself a chance to do it and give the divine a chance to show you because they will.
Yeah.
I mean, when do they not,
They show up big when you give them the chance to.
They really
You're
fucking
willing
do.
to see it. And questioning it is fine, but don't let it like take you away. Like don't let it go so far that it takes you away from questioning. I think is an important part of this work and this practice, but don't let it go so deep and so far that you talk yourself out of the things you've seen and experienced, or let other people talk you out of the things you personally have seen and experienced yourself. That I ask you to stand on wholeheartedly to the day you die, the things that you've encountered and done and worked with them. Carry that as in your heart, and that'll help guide you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like we sound Christian. Um
That's why I laugh, actually. In fact, that was one of the other episodes we want to talk about Jesus at some point. Sorry,
oh
just
yeah, yeah,
side note. Because I think that it would be interesting for folks to see our opinion on that because
yeah.
I think it correlates to this as well.
I agree. But I think we're running out of time.
Yeah,
Um,
we're about there.
well, thank you, everyone. We'll kind of wrap this up. This is a good episode. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it pushes you to continue practicing, continue to try, no matter how scary and weird it gets. Let's see. What's the word of the day? La 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 la. Um, hmm. I feel like my thing is giving me the same words.
You gotta.
I like this word. Ululation. Ululation. It's like really hard to say.
It is. I can't
You,
even imagine how it's spelled.
you, ululation. Ululation. My God, how do you say that in a sentence? Her her ululation expressed great joy. Her ululation expressed great joy. A long, loud, emotional sound. So if I was like, ah, that would be a ululation. So her ululation expressed great joy. And it's spelled Ululation. Ululation. You're
I don't
welcome.
know why something about it reminds me of the Whoville and
It
how
does.
everything was like Whovilation.
Yeah,
So,
Whovulations. If anyone finds a way to use ululation this week, please tell us because ululation is a really fun one. Um, okay. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Have a really great week. Please stay safe. Please stay sane. Please take care of your neighbors in any way that you can. Stay vigilant and stay present in your vessel. On Friday, the 6th, I believe, at 6 or 7 p.m. EST. Please pay attention to my TikTok for exact times and pay attention to the Patreon for exact times. I'm going to have a free meditation slash breathwork class to try and help us stay present in the vessel in our body, and focus on embodiment. And hopefully that will help you. We love you very much. Abolish ice.
fuck yeah. Fuck ice.
Yeah, fuck ice. Yeah, defend yourself, defend your neighbor. Don't ever, ever, ever stop being kind in the face of meanness. And we love you very much.
See you next week.
Bye.